Welcome to the Marketing Smarts live show by MarketingProfs and the Marketing Smarts podcast, where we dive into B2B news, resources, valuable guest content, and much more each and every week. If you're a B2B marketer looking for a place to learn, keep up to date, and have some fun along the way, I'm your guy. Grab a beverage and a notepad and welcome to the show. Now, hello to all of my Marketing Smarts live viewers today. I'm super excited to bring you an episode 8 of the Marketing Smarts live show on a topic that every B2B, B2C, every marketer, heck, should be learning or leaning into, and that is this idea of a collaborative content strategy. What do we mean? Well, we'll get into that. I'm your boy, George B. Thomas, speaker, trainer, catalyst, and host of this here show, the Marketing Smarts YouTube live show, as well as the Marketing Smarts podcast found on your favorite podcast app. Today's topic is the power of collaborative content strategy. And of course, whatever tips, tricks, strategies, and best practices hit my brain along our fantastic journey. Now, our guest clips today are brought to you by Andy Crestodina. Andy has been in the web design and interactive marketing space since January of 2000. And in that time, he's helped thousands of people do a better job getting results online. And he's a true evangelist for content marketing and, I love this, ethical digital marketing. Together with the team at Orbit Media, Andy has put out some of the best digital marketing advice available in hundreds of practical articles, including posts on virtually all of the top marketing websites. Then, of course, you can't forget there's the book, Content Chemistry, which is currently in its 5th edition. Andy is also a regular speaker, both locally and nationally. Not only is Andy a founder of Content Jam, Chicago's largest content marketing conference, but he's also a regular face on the national circuit. If you go to a content marketing conference, the one Chicagoan you're most likely to hear is probably, the one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend, Andy Crestodina. Now, remember, the clips of Andy today are pulled from the full Marketing Smarts podcast episode. And if you want to listen to the full interview with Andy and myself, make sure to tune in to the Marketing Smarts podcast. Link to the full show will be in the description below after the live show ends. You know what I'm going to say. All the right links in all the right places at the right time. That's all right. Also, a big thanks to Mountain and Semrush for sponsoring the original podcast episode. Yes, they did. And so we get to mention them here. Moving on. When you think about content and content creation, what do you think? I really want to know. Use the hashtag MPB2B. But do you think of content schmontent? Do you think it's hard? So who wants to do what's hard? Or do you want it, but you are super busy with everything else and you just can't seem to get to it? Or maybe historically you have created content, but in the world that you sent it out to, it just landed or fell flat. With any of those thoughts, we're going to try and help you with content efforts, your content efforts, with the conversation around collaborative content. But let's start from the start. What if you're not doing content? Anyway, that could be a true thing. What if you're not doing content or have a content strategy in place? Why is it vitally important that you do this? Well, that's actually the first clip that I want to pull out. So let's see what Andy has to say about the importance of having a content strategy and content in place out in the world today.
A website without a content program is an online brochure. That is literally what it is. You've produced nothing that gives anybody a reason to share, to subscribe to visit twice. Your website is 100% sales content, which is pretty boring. It's like, I remember back in the days when a content program kind of made your site give you like a little bit of an edge. Now it's just like about not having a disadvantage. It's sort of expected that you at least at some point stake a claim to something, like put your neck out, like just offer some bit of helpful, useful advice. Without a content program, your site is 100% hype and 0% help.
All hype and not help. Woo, man, that one hits hard considering To build trust, you need to add value, and adding value on the internet is many times linked back to your website and the content you create on said website, and then distributed to other places on the internet from hopefully that website that you have. So the fact that it's all hype and no help is not a good thing. Now, we're going to get back to Andy and his thoughts on collaborative content, but I have to ask, are you part of the Marketing Profs community? If not, become part of the Marketing Profs community by heading over to mprofs.com MP today. That's right, mprofs.com/MP today. Now, it's time for our In the B2B News, where we talk about breaking B2B news or really important tips we find on the Google News tab related to you and your B2B business. Today, in the news section, using B2B marketing strategies to grow your business. That's right. You probably have heard all of them, but maybe not. I like this article because it's pretty robust and might help you think about things out of your normal day-to-day B2B strategies. It sets a baseline with the buyer's journey and the 4 Ps, but moves quickly into a ton of strategy ideas you may or may not be implementing to grow your business. To read the full article and learn all about B2B marketing strategies, check out the link in the description below after the live broadcast. I'll spare you this time. I won't say all the links in all the right places at the right time. Oh, did I just say it? Anyway, let's get back to Andy and his conversation around collaborative content. I wanted to ask Andy, what superpowers does collaborative content versus normal content enable? Versus, again, what you might be doing right now or not at all. But when you think of, is it stale or lackluster content, what superpowers does collaborative content give you? And this is what Andy had to say.
Content that's more visual has an advantage at keeping the visitor engaged. Let's be honest, our visitors are scanning a lot of the time. And so you're trying to find ways to add something of visual interest at every scroll depth. Formatting can do that. Images also do that. So when I add a contributor quote to a piece, I've got the face, the name, the link, the title, the company, the quotes. So you're making the content just more engaging visually to the scan reader. That's one. Another thing is everything that you say as a marketer is automatically marketing. But as soon as you put quotes around it, it becomes a third party. It becomes an additional perspective. It's like, I'm not an attorney, but lawyers go to court. They put a witness in the witness box. Why? Because you need to create a case here. You're looking for, other voices. So the quotes are the most powerful key in your keyboard. And whenever any chance you have to put something in quotes, don't miss that chance, because now the reader's getting that from another perspective. It feels like a third party. It's like an endorsement. Like it's just somehow more credible than, it's like a new voice. So it checks that box. And then also, as I mentioned, you're going to get greater social reach, because an ally in creating content is an ally in then promoting content. So unless you have people in your content, you did not optimize for social. Everyone knows content optimized for search includes keywords in your title, your header, your body text. But what it took me years to figure out is that content optimized for social media has people, faces, names, quotes, perspective. That's what optimized for social means. It checks all the boxes. Plus, in the long run, separate from your brand, separate from your leads, separate from your employer, grow your own network, make friends.
An ally on creating content is an ally in promoting your content. And I also love this conversation around optimizing for social. And of course, grow your network. And by all this holy, make some friends. But that sounds maybe too easy to be true. And I knew that for many of us, there might be a question swirling around in our brain, one that might paralyze us from even getting started with collaborative content. How the heck do we find collaborators to work with? And Andy had a great answer to that question. Let's go ahead and see what he had to say.
A lot of it just sort of happens by traveling through life. And, I'm at an event and there's a bunch of smart people here, and I get this idea to ask all these different people the same question. I leave the event with a roundup, because maybe that was who I was eating lunch with. I was invited to to create some kind of survey. There's a company doing surveys with in collaboration with marketers, and so I'm going to make the survey. I was just on social. I hadn't seen Ross Simmons in a while. Wow. Hey, maybe he can do the survey together with me. Hey, let's both get the data. Let's both do analysis. Let's both write articles on the same topic and then reference each other. That would be better for both of us. So I just asked Ross, hey, Ross, do you want to do, I'm doing a survey. Interested? Immediate yes, writes back, move from social to email. So it's honestly, for me, I know there's tools for this. There's Analytica and Tracker, and there's lots of tools for like finding influencers. And those tools will help you find people that you hadn't considered. Or SparkToro shows you like hidden gems and like which podcasts are talking about which topics. But honestly, it's just, George, the way that I met all the people that I know, it was just by being active in communities, live events, or just on social media, and just listening, just talking to people. Because when you have an article, it's on a topic, you got to find someone who's relevant to that topic. It's kind of who's top of mind for you. It's reason number 10 million to be active on social media so that you are more likely to be top of mind to others when they look for a collaborator. So my answer is really just like, just build your network, just be active, just listen to what people, think of people who are relevant to the topic, reach out to some. But one trick in that, and I should say this, you can't wait till the last minute because it stresses people out or they won't respond or it's too hard. You got to plan your content a little bit farther in advance if you're doing collaborative work, because give people at least a week or so. Some people are really like Johnny on the spot. A lot of people take a little, need a little more time to think about a good answer.
Don't stress your collaborators out, but it also doesn't have to be rocket surgery. Sure, there are tools out there to help, but more importantly, there are humans. Oh my gosh, humans sitting next to you or in your circles that are more than willing to help. And heck, even people out of your circles. But we'll talk about that in a few minutes because there might be a mindset around that. First, it's time for some dope B2B learnings from the Vault of MarketingProfs articles. That's right. It's time to dig into the treasure trove of valuable information and pull out 2 pieces of gold to help you be a better B2B marketer. Article number 1 this week is how to spring clean your website content. Now, George, why did you bring that one up? Well, this one jumped out to me because if we're having this collaborative content conversation, you might want to update your historical content or clean house as you move forward. I like a lot about this article, but really love the simplicity of the content litmus test. What do I mean? In the article, Doug Yoko says the litmus test consists of 2 questions. Does this content address and solve a common challenge or showcase your business as an industry expert? And is this content relevant to your target audience? Great questions to ask. Article number 2 for this week's episode is how to level up your content marketing with a topic cluster plan. Again, if you move in a collaborative content strategy direction, one of the questions you might quickly want to know is, how does all of this collaborative content play together? How does it fit in a nice content strategy, aka a cluster of content? I mean, they will be socially optimized, as we spoke about, or Andy spoke about, but there's nothing wrong, trust me, with impacting your SEO along the way as well. Now, to learn more after the broadcast and read both articles in full, head over to the link located in the description below. Yes, all the right links in all the right places at the right time. Man, I love this conversation about collaborative content. And we're going to dig in a little bit deeper because we're going to head back to Andy. But George, I don't know any influencers, and I just know that they're going to turn me down if I reach out and ask, and I can't take that if I get turned down. Listen, a vital piece of your success pertaining to collaborative content is your own mindset and the mindset you need around this content strategy. You may be thinking about it correctly, or if you have thought any of the things that I just jokingly kind of said a few seconds ago, well, you might not be thinking about it so correctly. Well, here's what Andy had to say about the mindset you need for this collaborative content strategy pertaining to actually reaching out to thought leaders or the people that you're trying to collaborate with, which, by the way, could be internal employees, coworkers, Could be people on the internets like Andy, Ann, George, Jay, whoever. Anyway, it's all about mindset. Here's what he had to say.
Yeah, well, large social accounts are a bit overrated. Anyone who has worked with a large social account can tell you that. It's not, the point is not to collaborate with a celebrity, or, you don't need a Jay or a Joe or an Ann here to be successful at this. A lot of what I just described has nothing to do with the social reach of the collaborator, right? Enjoying your job, adding visual prominence, adding another points of view, learning by creating content. None of that has anything to do with the perceived level of visibility of the collaborator. But yes, they'll enjoy it anyway. Try it anyway. It doesn't hurt, right? What's going to happen? Nothing happens. That's the worst case scenario, is that the person doesn't respond to you and that nothing happened. Not a big deal. So yeah, taking a bit of a chance and doing a bit of outreach is helpful. And by the way, all of these people wake up in the morning hoping to be interviewed. People love to be interviewed. To them, you are a press hit. That's what happened, right? This paradigm shift. Now you're the media. That's the change on the internet, is that everyone's a publisher now. So as the media, when you reach out to someone and ask them if they'd like to contribute to this piece you're making, they're very likely going to be excited about that. Pro influencers, by the way, are the best at this because they know what it's worth. They know how easy it is, and they drop everything. They're ready. They budget time to respond for little PR opportunities like this.
Man, so much good in that section. Large social accounts are overrated. And think media hits, media hits, media hits. FYI, I love being quoted or being asked to be on a podcast. And I can tell you, so does Andy, Jay, Joe, Chris, anybody that you think that you can't reach out to, they like it as well. So I need you to do this. I need you to break your historical thoughts and simply ask. And then when they say yes, start creating your amazing content with a little help from your friends. There might be a song there. Did you start singing it? Anyway, a little help from your friends, mentors, and thought leaders. Trust me when I tell you, you got this. Now, it's time for From the B2B Community. That's right. We searched far and wide in the hashtag MP B2B universe to find amazing information and conversations to bring to you, the masses. So first, make sure you're using that hashtag so I can see you online. And second, make sure you have fun and add value to the community along the way. Then we'll spotlight you or your crew on the show. This week, it's LinkedIn and Rhett B. That's right. Marketing and membership strategist, relationship builder, and team culture enthusiast. And it goes a little something like this. Yes, CX is critical to a business success. Excited to learn from Rhett Zips, Kelly O'Connell, and Nate Brown. Why, thank you, Rhett. This actually comes from an original post about our MarketingProfs Friday forums. And if you're not joining me and all the smart folks who make up those events, you're missing out. But never fear, you can always go watch the recordings as well. Link to the Friday forum with Rhett Zips, Kelly O'Connell, and Nate Brown is located in the description below. Thanks, Rhett B, for using that hashtag MP B2B. I have to ask audience members, are you going to be the next spotlight on the show? Remember, community, use the hashtag MPB2B on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Twitter. Yes, I'm looking all over the place, as many places as I can. And get the light shined on your awesomeness in the next episode or a future episode of the Marketing Smarts live show. Pro tip, it won't hurt, by the way, if you tag me in your posts as well, because then I'll definitely see it. George B. Thomas on most of them, Mr. George B. Thomas on Facebook. So one of the things I like to do is words of wisdom, and let's kick it back to Andy and some words of wisdom around this topic of collaborative content strategy, because these words, listen, get the notepad out, get the iPad out. Like I jokingly say, get the chalk and your wall or whatever you can write on out, because these words of wisdom, priceless.
Don't go it alone. It's harder. It's boring. It's lonely. There are people out there who will be thrilled that you contacted them and asked them for their perspective. It's not important if they're famous. It's important if they're interesting and have a perspective. And over time, you're going to do Ann's words, build a little squad. You're going to build a small community around you of people who love to work together, people who share each other's work, people who contribute to each other's work. I feel bad for the marketers that write every article on their own. They publish every article. The day that article goes live, nobody knew it was going to exist until the day it went live. Nobody was waiting for it. They never write for any websites except their own. Let's mention that. Guest posting, writing for other people, doing outreach, offering to help, to publish on someone else's website is also a form of collaboration. Inviting others to publish on your platform is a form of collaboration. Don't do it all by yourself. What's the phrase? If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Content marketing is a long game, right? We always say it's a marathon, not a sprint. You're going to go far. So go together, build relationships, meet experts, learn from them. It's a contest of generosity. The most generous brands win. To be the most generous brand, you're going to need a little team to do it with you. You're going to have to enlist the help of others. You're going to offer your help to others. And in the long run, you're going to go way farther. We're going to do way better outcomes with this more collaborative, strategic, more generous approach. Gone are the days of doing it solo. Never write another piece of content without a contributor quote.
Oh, man. My goodness. Don't go it alone. It's boring and lonely. Build your collaborative content squad. And remember, it's content generosity. Ladies and gentlemen, have you enjoyed today's journey? Let us know using the hashtag MPB2B. Head to the description below, click on the links to the full Marketing Smarts podcast with Andy Crestodina, and keep on learning more about this collaborative content strategy. Remember, these were just a few clips out of the Marketing Smarts podcast that was sponsored by Mountain and SEMrush. If you got value out of today's show, hit that like, and better yet, share it with a friend. To keep learning more, hit that subscribe or watch any additional Marketing Profs videos, or go tune in to the original Marketing Smarts podcast episode on your favorite podcast app. Don't forget to become part of the Marketing Profs community by heading over to mprofs.com, MP today, and do it today. And as always, remember to be a happy, helpful, humble B2B marketing human. And we'll see you on the next episode of the Marketing Smarts Live show next week.